classified, with subsequently large increases in licence fees.
Moorings in the harbour are split between basically deep water moorings where a boat never touches the bottom, and tidal moorings or mud moorings where a boat is expected to sit on the mud at some time during the tide. But now they've taken it upon themselves to try and shift our moorings, and not only that, they have raked as they've done with the pontoon, the ferry, they've hoisted their prices up by 300%. They've done the same with the moorings, so much so that a mooring we would have paid for £90 for last year, they've hiked up to £400, £500. Some have gone up to £700. And there's just no comparison why these prices should be hiked up to this extent. And the Harbour Board put nothing into it apart from issuing a licence. We charge, we do all our own work, put the block down, pay for the block and chain, mooring buoy, pennants and so on. Whereas, as I say, if you go to the Harbour Board, they are supposed to do this. The family have been on that mooring for 40 odd years and nothing has been said before. And since the Harbour Master has been here over the past 7 years, nothing has happened. Until now, starting last year, he's picked on them, and where people and families, old fishing families, have had these moorings for all this period of time, he's now decided that they've got too much water under there, but they're still mud moorings, and it just doesn't make sense. Is another area where we possibly like to show you is where the Harbour Master took it in his mind to, in the winter, small boats work their way up onto the beach, moor and tie up high up on the tide, so they can work on them in the winter, and also because during this sort of weather it is not easy to get out to their boats when they're on the mooring, and can be dangerous, as did happen last year when 2 people died rowing out to their boat in the Glory Hole. But the Harbour Master took it in his mind again to try and make sure these boats didn't stay on the beach, and issued notices to them saying they were a hazard to navigation and should be moved out onto their moorings. You can see up on the beach, up along the high water line, there are various boats tied up high, which a lot of them are tied up at this time of the year to work on, and obviously they're not in use. They're fishermen, just anglers who like to go out in the summer and whatever, different people. Now, all those boats along there were plastered with notices saying that they were a hazard to shipping. And it was one of these boats, it's out on a mooring, over there you can see a slipway. Because the weather was bad and their boat was out on a mooring, they launched a dinghy to try to get their boat to check that the mooring ropes and everything were okay, and unfortunately the boat went over and they drank. Both of them died. We spend a lot of time in the harbour, and we've got a lot of interest in the harbour. He seems to ignore us completely, as though, his only interest is in the dredgers and other things. We can't really understand why he's got this sort of, what we feel is a vendetta against us, the mooring holders in that area. Just that one area, nowhere else, he's picked on us.
Once again, Captain Jardine refused to discuss the increases. The disgruntled boat owners have contacted solicitors in order to determine whether the movement of their moorings after the start of a contract is in fact illegal. They are now pushing for a judicial inquiry. As for the ferry, it has been granted a temporary reprieve thanks to cash pledges from Hampshire County Council and Portsmouth City Council. However, the pledge will only ensure the existence of the service until the end of the next financial year in March 2006. A final decision is expected at the next Harbour Board meeting in June 2005. One thing is for sure, if the ferry service was to stop running, it would most certainly be at a loss for the community.